Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto was born with immortality? Part 1, subscribe if you enjoy the video. Let's start the story. It's a boy. The doctor said, as he handed the young boy to his mother. His father was smiling down at him, not believing that he helped create such a beautiful creature. The young boy had blonde hair, gray eyes for now, but he knew they would be the deepest blue anyone will ever see. His mother held the boy in her arms in a loving embrace. "Hello there young one, I'm your mother, and that right there is your father," said the red-haired woman. The boy stopped crying and looked up at his mother. He started giggling and grabbed his mother's finger with both hands. He started playing with it as his parents watched on with pride and love. The father then stared at his lovely wife. She had been a bit of a tomboy the first couple of weeks he had first met her. After she had opened up to him, he knew he had found the woman he would spend the rest of his life with. His wife looked up at him and smiled at him. He smiled back and then saw a flash go off. The father looked across the room to see the doctor with a camera. The doctor smiled at them and handed them the picture. Subsequently, they heard something that they never expected to hear. "It's Kyuubi, the nine-tailed fox." Many ninja arrived on the scene to see Kyuubi attacking their village. No one knew exactly why he was attacking Konoha. Konoha has never had a past history with them, not one that they knew of. However, they were not about to let it kill them all and destroy their precious village. They fought with everything they had, but it still wasn't enough to stop Kyuubi. It just ignored their futile attempts to stop it and continued to rampage the village. Far off in the distance, someone with blonde hair rode on top of a large toad, moving at high speeds to the fight. He held his newborn baby in his arms in hopes to stop Kyuubi. "Let me be there on time," the mysterious man said. Then he smirked as a sudden thought. "I'm starting to be as bad as Kakashi." Many were about to give up hope, but all of a sudden, the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, appeared on top of Gamabunta, the chief toad. He had his usual vest, navy blue shirt, pants, and shoes. He also had his famous white robe with flames embedded at the bottom. He held his newborn child in his arms, praying he would forgive him when he grew up. For what? For sealing Kyuubi in him. Minato was making the biggest sacrifice in his life, risking his own life and the future life of his son, Naruto Namikaze. He knew the only way to stop Kyuubi would be to seal him into a newborn child. But he couldn't ask anyone else to give up their child if he wasn't willing to do that himself. There is a price to be paid with sealing Kyuubi into Naruto, and that is his life, though he couldn't care less. As long as it saved the village, Naruto, and Kushina, he didn't care. Kushina Uzumaki is Minato's wife. She was the one who gave birth to Naruto. He would have announced it long ago, but Konoha's advisors, Hamaru and Kaharu, advised him not to. He was foolish to have listened to them, but it couldn't be helped. After giving birth to Naruto, Minato told Kushina to remain there while he went to stop Kyuubi. He hoped she would forgive him, too. Now here he stood, facing Kyuubi, Naruto crying in his arms and a single tear rolling down his cheek. "I'm sorry Naruto. I just hope they see you as the hero that you truly are." Then, he started sealing and sealed Kyuubi into Naruto. It was struggling and Minato almost didn't pull it off, but thankfully, he had an unprecedented amount of chakra. At the last second, he managed to seal Kyuubi into his only son. After that, he used the 8 trigram sealing. There my son. I know you don't understand this, but thanks to this seal, you'll be able to access Kyuubi's chakra to help you whenever you need it," he said, trying to calm down a crying Naruto. He kept rocking Naruto until Naruto fell asleep. Minato had no energy left, and he knew he would die soon. Knowing that his village is safe, he would be able to rest a lot more peacefully. Unfortunately, today apparently was not his day, as someone appeared in front of him. "Minato, something's happened to Kushina," a white-haired man said. Minato's eyes widened at his words. "What do you mean Jiraiya?" Minato asked coldly. Jiraiya flinched at the coldness in Minato's voice. He didn't want to be the one to tell him, it would just devastate him. "Well, after you left, she insisted on helping defend the village. I was there and told her she had to rest, but she knocked me out and went to protect the village. When I awoke, I went to look for her, but she was nowhere to be found." "No, you don't mean that?" Minato asked fearfully. "I think she's dead, Minato," Jiraiya reluctantly said. Minato didn't believe it, he just couldn't. "But she wasn't found, that doesn't mean she's dead," Minato said. Jiraiya just shook his head. "It's highly unlikely that she's alive." Minato just looked down at his son. Even though he looked like him, Minato knew he would be just like his mother. Unfortunately, he wouldn't be alive long enough to see if it is true. "Take care of my son, Jiraiya. Take him back to the village and make sure he's seen as a hero. The hero who helped stop Kyuubi from completely destroying Konoha. Also, make sure he takes the name Naruto Uzumaki. I don't want my enemies coming after him." Minato told Jiraiya as he handed Naruto to Jiraiya. Jiraiya nodded and disappeared into the night. Minato stood, looking at the night sky. Be tough, my son, I doubt the village will respect you, but I hope they do respect my last wish. And, as for you, Kushina, Minato smiled as he stared into the moon for the last time before closing his eyes. I know you're alive, Kushina. You're just too stubborn to die. Minato said as he fell to the floor dead. Minutes later, several Anbu picked him up and headed for the village. Time skip 5 years. Get back here, demon, and pay for that apple. The day started out as usual, someone accusing the 5-year-old blonde-haired kid of stealing something from them and the blonde kid running for his life as a mob formed to beat him. Naruto was running down the busier streets of Konoha, hoping to lose them in the crowd. I already paid for it. Naruto yelled before disappearing into the crowd. The mob stopped and started swearing as they knew they wouldn't be able to find him now. They separated and left to continue their day. Naruto smiled as he saw the mob leave. He laughed at them as he walked home, eating his apple in peace. He wasn't really paying attention to where he was going and soon ended up in the park. He looked around confused, wondering why he was at the park, but just shrugged and went to the swings. He was swinging for a couple of minutes before some orange blur ran straight at him and tackled him. This caused Naruto to fall back off the swing and onto the ground. He let out a groan before looking up and seeing a small orange fox looking eagerly at him. Naruto got up and picked up the fox. Hey, the fox immediately jumped out of Naruto's arms and licked his face. Naruto laughed as the fox continued licking his face. Stop, come on, I tickles. It would be another couple of minutes before the fox stopped, but it was still hyperactive. Naruto took some time to calm down before he stood up. He walked over to the fox and patted it on the head. He then started to walk away. The fox looked back at him and started following him. Naruto looked back and saw that the fox was following him. Are you following me? He asked. The fox seemed to have understood because the fox's head did a motion that looked to be a nod. This surprised Naruto, he didn't think animals were that smart. Now it was time for the harder questions. Why? He asked, wondering if the fox would talk. But all the fox did was stand on its hind legs and repeatedly tap Naruto's stomach with its front paw. Naruto's sweat dropped, he was kind of hoping the fox would have said something. He sighed and continued walking, the little fox walking right behind him. Naruto kept walking and found himself at Ichiraku's ramen bar. He smiled widely and ran inside. He noticed that the fox wasn't following him and felt somewhat disappointed. He sat down on the chair and was about to order when Tucci, the owner, stopped him. Sorry Naruto, you know the rules, no pets. Naruto tilted his head. What do you mean? I don't have a pet. Naruto explained. Tucci just pointed to his head. Naruto reached up and felt the little fox leaping silently on his head. Am came out of the kitchen to see what was going on. It was at that exact moment that the little fox decided to stretch and scratch its ear with its leg. Am squealed at how cute the fox was. Both Naruto and Tucci sweat dropped as Am grabbed the fox. The fox just stared confusedly at Am, then looked back at Naruto. Fine, I'll take the ramen to go then. He said as he took out his Gamma wallet. The fox stared at Naruto's wallet, then jumped from Am's hands and snatched it from Naruto's hands. Hey. He then sped after the little fox. He was right behind the fox and jumped so he could grab the fox. Regrettably, the fox saw this coming and jumped to the left, making Naruto make a face planted on the sidewalk. When he got up he saw the fox, but not the wallet. Hey, where'd you put my wallet? Naruto asked. The little fox looked to his left, then his right before looking back at Naruto and tilting his head. Naruto's sweat dropped and stared at the fox that was surprisingly calm. He sighed and decided to go home since he didn't have the money for Ichiraku's ramen. He started walking home and again the fox was following him. When they reached his house, Naruto turned to the fox. Sorry little guy, but I'm not allowed to have any pets. The fox's ears went down and it looked sad. This got Naruto sad, he didn't want to see the little fox sad. The fox walked away into a dark alley and disappeared. Naruto walked into his home, thinking about the fox. He made some instant ramen since it was the only thing he could afford and sat down on the couch to watch TV. He then got tired of watching TV and went to bed. It was midnight and Naruto was still thinking about the little fox. He was thinking how lonely the fox must be, how afraid it must be of being alone. Naruto got off his bed and went outside. He looked into the dark alley and saw the fox entered and started looking for it. He spent 5 minutes in the alley, but he still didn't find the fox. He was about to give up when he heard something move in the trash can next to him. He opened it up, hoping to see the fox, but instead saw a rat inside eating something out of a can. Naruto quickly closed the lid and headed home. When he got in, he went out his window and sat on his roof. He looked up into the sky. I know what it feels like to be alone, wandering the streets in the middle of the night hoping to find something to eat, Naruto said to himself. He knew even though it was just an animal, it didn't mean that it didn't have any feelings. Naruto kept looking at the sky while he hoped that the fox would be alright. Then he felt something small get on his lap. He looked down and saw that it was the little fox from earlier. He smiled at it as the fox looked back at him. His smile grew as he saw the fox with a wallet. Naruto then noticed it wasn't his wallet. In fact, it actually had more money than what he had in his old wallet. The only similarity was the fact that it was still a Gamma wallet. Wait, if this isn't my wallet, then whose is it? Naruto asked. Across the village in Tanzaku town, a white-haired man was looking for his wallet. He knew he had it, he saw it before he entered the village. Then he remembered he saw a small orange blur running around him. The orange blur must have been the thing who stole his wallet. He got angry, but then remembered that the security guard was waiting for the white-haired man to pay him. I swear I had it in here somewhere, he said to the security guard. The security guard just grabbed him and threw him out of the gentleman's club. The white-haired man's face connected with the hard concrete with a sickening crack. And don't come back until you have enough money, the security guard said before closing the door and leaving Jiraiya outside, unconscious. Naruto picked up the fox and then it yawned. Naruto took the fox and walked back into his house. He got one of his pillows and put it on the floor next to his bed. Then he put the fox on it. Good night him, you need a name don't you? Okay then, how about Shouta? The fox shook its head, which still surprised Naruto to no end. Tasuki, Takeo, Suzaku. The fox shook its head at those names as well. Wait, are you even a boy? The fox shook its head. Okay then the fox shook her head again. Naruto spent half an hour trying to give the fox a name, but she didn't like any he had suggested. Okay, last one before I give up. How about Miyu? The fox made no motion, making Naruto think she liked it. So Miyu. The fox looked up at Naruto and made no indication of hating it. Naruto smiled and laid down on his bed. Miyu it is, he said before falling asleep. The signs of a new day made themselves known as the sun's light shone through the window into Naruto's room. It was too bright to ignore, which made Naruto wake up. Naruto slowly opened one eye and yawned. Soon, Naruto felt a small amount of pressure on his chest. He looked down and saw Miyu sleeping on his chest. He was about to get up and kick the fox out until he remembered yesterday night. He smiled at the memory and lay there, waiting for Miyu to get up. It didn't take that long, Miyu started moving and stretching. Then she yawned and scratched her left ear with her leg. Naruto laughed and picked up Miyu and set her back on his bed. He went to the bathroom and got ready for the day. When he came out, he was wearing a white shirt with a spiral-like shape in the middle, navy blue pants, and blue ninja shoes. Come on Miyu, let's head out and see what happens today. Miyu yelped and followed Naruto out of the house. After he locked up, Naruto headed out and went to the park. While they were walking, Miyu was sitting on top of Naruto's head. People were talking about them as they passed by, saying things like ironic or so he finally figured it out and things similar to that. Naruto heard them all and yet he didn't understand what they meant. After a moment's pondering over the matter he shrugged it off and they reached the park. Naruto and Miyu spent hours on the swing before Naruto decided to walk around the village. During his walk, he saw a boy with a black hair sitting near the edge of the dock. The boy looked up at Naruto and Naruto smiled at him. The kid ignored Naruto and kept looking at the water. Naruto pouted at him and kept walking. He just kept walking and walking until something hit him on the side of his head. He fell down and held his head in pain. He looked back and saw a drunken man looking extremely mad. The man said something, but he slurred when he spoke. Naruto didn't understand why he attacked him or what the man just said. The man then picked up a rock and threw it at Naruto with amazing accuracy. Naruto kept holding his head, trying to avoid taking too much damage. The man soon got help from two other drunken men, and the three started throwing whatever they could find at Naruto. Naruto shielded Miyu while the attack continued. As soon as it started, it ended, confusing Naruto. He heard punches being thrown and 3 bodies hitting the ground. Then suddenly, someone picked Naruto by his collar and brought him to eye level. The man was about 30 to 35 years old. He wore a black mask that covered everything under his eyes that held hatred, pain, and bloodlust. He wore a plain headband that went across his forehead, but he wasn't a ninja. He was also bald, about 6 feet tall, and had a red robe on. Underneath the robe, Naruto could tell he had 2 swords. The man was scary looking, some would say sinister, demonic even. And yet, Naruto didn't feel as scared as he thought he should be. What do you want? Naruto asked, making the man snarl. Why didn't you fight back? The man asked. Naruto didn't get why the man asked him that. What? Why didn't you fight back? Why were you just cowering down and letting them pelt you? Naruto didn't answer the man's question. He didn't exactly know why either, but he didn't want to tell the man that. He was brought out of his thoughts by the only word the man said. Pathetic? What? Are you calling me pathetic? Naruto asked angrily. The man sneered and let him go. Yes, I am. You don't even fight back when people attack you for no reason. You're truly pathetic, a waste of my time. The man said before walking away. Hold on, old man. Naruto yelled, making the man stop. He turned around and looked at Naruto. What is it that you want? Naruto looked down at the floor and hesitated. I was wondering, how did you beat those men? He asked, pointing at the drunken men. The man raised an eyebrow, curiosity evident in his face. Why do you want to know? The man asked. Naruto looked up and the man saw determination in his eyes. He saw the eyes only great fighters and warriors have, something he didn't see every day. I want to know how to defend myself. I don't want to be pathetic, I know I'm not, but I need to show everyone that I'm not. So will you help me? Naruto inquired. The man thought about it, not knowing if he should agree or not. Well, I'm not sure. Meet me in the forest behind the park and we'll see if you have any fights with you. The man said before disappearing into a crowd. Naruto remained where he stood before he felt Miyu tugging on his foot. Naruto snapped out of it and headed for the park again. He ran as fast as he could and when he finally reached the forest behind the park, he saw a log cabin in the middle of a clearing. Naruto went up to the cabin and knocked on the door. But before he could hit the door, he heard someone yell, "Back here." Naruto wasn't sure if the voice was talking to him or not, but he went to the back of the cabin and saw the man from earlier sitting cross-legged and in front of him, 6 swords were stuck in the ground. The first sword had a magnificently white blade, engraved and styled to resemble a flame. The guard had been modeled to look like a pair of angel wings, inlaid with the kanji for passion. The second sword's guard resembled a butterfly. The engravings on the sharp blade were so intricate in their design that it made Naruto's mouth hang open slightly. Its grip was made of a dark wood that looked warm and comforting, a feature that had the exact opposite feeling of the brutally sharp blade. The pommel bore a single topaz that glinted softly back at Naruto in the sunlight. The third sword had a jagged blade of a blue color with a pattern made of triangles and zigzags engraved into it. It looked brutal, the serrated edge giving it the impression that if it was dragged across your skin, there wouldn't be a lot left. The guard was wave-shaped and its grip was formed like a tower. The fourth sword had a beautiful blade, almost as if made from pure amethyst. It was etched with a pattern made of waves and rectangles and its grip was of a black metal set with moonstones and aquamarines, the pommel shaped like a skull. The fifth sword's guard was rectangle shaped, its grip was of a black metal with a pattern composed of mesmerizing spirals inlaid into it. The pommel, however, was shaped like a globe, its smoothness a complete parallel of its mostly sharp-edged design. The last sword, however, caught Naruto's attention and heart as soon as he laid eyes on it. The weapon had a mysterious black blade, as dark as obsidian and yet as reflective as the most magnificent of metals. Dragons were engraved into the black surface in a deep blood red, and Naruto wouldn't have been surprised if the crimson veins were ruby. The guard resembled its wings, made of a black metal, and the grip was wrapped with bandages. The pommel was shaped like a vicious flame. Naruto didn't understand what he was supposed to do, but one thing was certain, the first and sixth sword caught his eye the most. The man gave Naruto a calculating stare before speaking. "Sit down in front of the blades," the man said. Naruto went in front of the swords and sat down, still wondering why he was there. "Now choose." Naruto's eyes widened and he looked at the man incredulously. "What? You want me to train you, right? Well, if you want me to train you, choose a sword," the man yelled. Naruto just sat there, not believing this man would let a child use something as dangerous as a sword. Naruto took Miyu out of his head and told her to go to a safe place. He didn't know where the man was going with this, but he felt like Miyu would be in danger if she'd stay on his head. Naruto then stood and picked up the first and sixth sword. Naruto thought they'd be heavy, but they were as light as the wooden handle of a broom. The man raised an eyebrow at this. "Do? How very unusual. Very well then, two it is," the man said as he stood up and picked up the third and fifth sword. He got into a battle stance Naruto's never seen before. The man had his right hand over his head with the sword pointing at Naruto. The man's left hand was in front of him, his sword diagonal to his body. And his feet were spread out and kept him steady. Naruto just looked at his swords and then back at the man. He had his eyes closed, looking like he was concentrating on something. Then, his eyes suddenly opened and he charged at Naruto. Naruto panicked, never having used a sword before in his life. "Wait a minute. I don't know how to use a sword, let alone two," Naruto yelled, hoping to stop the man, but to no avail, the man just kept running at him. "No one told you to pick up two blades," the man yelled back. He swung the sword on his right. Naruto instinctively lifted the sword on his left and blocked the man's sword. This surprised the man for a second before he brought the other sword down in a vertical swing. Naruto again instinctively brought his right sword up to block his sword. Naruto recoiled back as he felt the strength the man used in his swing. Then the man kicked Naruto in the stomach, sending him flying back. Naruto stood up and dusted himself off. The man didn't move from where he stood. "What, are you done?" asked Naruto. When the man didn't answer, Naruto got mad. "Fine then, here I come." Naruto then ran at the man, who still didn't move. Naruto then vertically swung his right sword at the man, causing the man to block it and then forcing it to get stuck on the ground. Naruto used his momentum to use the sword as a lift and kicked the man in the chest, sending him back about 2 steps. Then, while still in the air, Naruto used his other sword to swing another vertical strike at him. The man used both swords to block the strike. The man smirked at Naruto's determination and concentration. "He's pretty smart for a brat," the man thought as he moved away from Naruto. "You're pretty good for a brat, you know that," the man said, much to the annoyance of Naruto. "I'm not a brat," Naruto screamed as he charged the man again. "Stop," the man said, making Naruto stop in his tracks. He looked up confused by the man's action. "What? Why?" Naruto asked. The man struck both swords into the grounds, making them stand. He then walked over to Naruto and crouched down until he was at eye level with Naruto. Naruto also struck both swords into the ground. "I thought you said you didn't know how to use a sword, let alone 2. Were you lying to me?" the man asked seriously. Naruto shook his head. "I never did use a sword before. I'm not sure how I did all of this, I just did what first came to mind," he said, a bit confused himself. The man smirked at Naruto's words. "That's good to hear, but if you want to prove to everyone that you're not pathetic, you might want to train more on your swordsmanship," the man said. Naruto smiled at his words and was about to say something, but the man said something first. "Lucky for you, I am a great teacher." Naruto's smile grew and he bowed at the man. Thankfully Naruto stopped, he didn't even know the man's name. The man laughed as he knew why he stopped. "Just call me Amir," Amir said as he walked into the cabin. Naruto laughed a little bit, attracting the attention of Amir. "Does my name amuse you?" he asked. Naruto immediately stopped laughing and stood up straight. "No, I just never heard a name like that before," he said. The man looked at Naruto and then went back inside the cabin. Naruto followed him into the cabin which he guessed was Amir's home. When he entered, all he saw was a couch, a small TV, about 20 or so swords hanging on the wall, and robes with the kanji for immortals on the back. Naruto looked at the robes for a long time before he felt a hand land on his shoulder. He looked up and saw Amir looking at the robes too. He had a distant look in his eyes. "That is the robes we of the Immortals clan wear to show off our pride. We wore it mostly when we were Imperial Guards." Naruto saw a sad look go on Amir's face. "Where?" Naruto asked. Amir looked down and sighed. "Yes, we were. I am the last of the Immortals clan. The rest died in a war not long ago. I survived only because they thought I died when I was really just unconscious. When I awoke, my brothers lay dead on the floor. I knew returning home would mean my death. I had no fear of dying, but I knew I was the last of my clan, so I set off to rebuild my clan. I ended up here. They say they saw me unconscious right outside Konoha's wall," Amir said as he thought back on the war against Greece. Naruto looked at the robes, then at Amir, and then again at the robes. "So you don't have a family anymore?" Amir shook his head. "Well, how do you become part of the Immortal clan?" Amir smirked as he moved closer to the robes. "It's not easy. To be an immortal you have to meet certain qualifications, which is said to be as worse as the infantry units." Naruto gulped as soon as he heard Amir's words. Naruto might not be the smartest boy alive, but he had heard of the infantry units some nations had. The infantry units have more physically demanding training than other branches of armies and place a greater emphasis on discipline, fitness, physical strength, and aggression. "So it's like that." Amir nodded, his smirk never leaving his face. Naruto stood passively behind Amir, thinking about what he said. "Then I don't care, I will do whatever you put in front of me, I will succeed, and I will be an immortal," Naruto said with as much determination as he always had. Amir's smirk grew and he looked back at Naruto. "Then let's get started, but first we need to leave," Amir said as he walked into his bedroom. "Leave?" Naruto asked. Amir came back into the living room a couple of minutes later with a bag full of his stuff. Naruto looked confused as to why he would pack all that stuff. "Yeah, leave Konoha. Like I said, to be an immortal, there are certain qualifications you need to meet and we can't do that here. Now go home and pack, only bring the essentials. When you're done, meet me at the gates and we'll leave," Amir said as he walked out the door. Naruto followed after him. "Wait, I have a question." Amir turned around and faced Naruto. "Can I take Miyu?" "Sorry, I can't have you bring another person with us. She would only slow us down. Besides, bringing a girl you like will only distract you." Amir answered before he walked away, leaving a blushing Naruto standing there. "Miyu's not just some girl," Naruto said before Amir interrupted him. "That's what they all say." Amir yelled. Naruto's blush grew and he growled. He picked up Miyu, who was sleeping the whole time, right outside Amir's back door, and ran after Amir. He stopped when he was in front of him and held up Miyu to show Amir. "I'm guessing this is Miyu." Naruto nodded his head. Amir sighed. "Come on, she won't slow us down, I promise." Naruto pleaded and Miyu gave Amir a puppy dog pout. Amir shook his head in defeat. "Fine, but she better not slow us down," Amir said as he continued his walk while Naruto yelled yes and ran home. He started packing his favorite orange jumpsuit and all the instant ramen he had. When he finished, he ran out and locked his door. He tried to run all the way to the gates but stopped to take a breather. When he realized where he stopped, he started jumping for joy. Then he ran into Ichiraku's ramen shop. He ate 15 bowls before he decided to head off. He waved goodbye to Tucci and Am, the only two people he knew who didn't hate him, and told them he'd see them again someday. When he reached the gates, he noticed that Amir was talking to the two Chunin at the front desk. When he walked up to them, the two Chunins glared at him while Amir started walking out of the village. Naruto followed Amir. When he was close enough, Naruto asked him when they would return. "When the time is right," Amir said vaguely. Naruto asked him what that meant, but Amir wouldn't say. Naruto stayed quiet as they walked on, not knowing what to expect. Time skip 1 year. The blonde-haired masked kid walked limply as he headed for Konoha. He had an average black headband on his forehead and a black mask that covered everything under his eyes. He had a torn-up black coat with the kanji for immortal on the back. Blue flames embedded at the bottom which reached up to his ankles. He wore a blue long-sleeve shirt and black anbu pants and traditional ninja shoes. He also wore a yellow and silver arm guard on his right hand and blue fingerless gloves. But the things that made him different were the two swords tied to his pants by a brown belt, one on his left and one on his right. The pommel was yellow and the grip was wrapped in bandages. The sword guard was also yellow and the sheath was gray. "Finally, I can go back home," the kid said. He was exhausted and wanted to go home. He had been training for a full year and it was finally time. Unfortunately, on his way home his master abruptly collapsed and the kid helped him go to the nearest hospital. Luckily, they passed a village not long ago. The doctor told the kid to wait outside while they examined his master. The doctor came back a couple minutes later to tell the kid his master would die from an incurable disease soon. The kid had broken down and cried for his master, though he didn't cry long, for he remembered his master's words. "To be an immortal, you must not be weak. No matter the situation, you must be strong." When the kid went to see his master in his last moments on earth, he left the kid with words that will forever live on in the kid. "No matter what, don't ever leave a comrade behind. As part of the Immortal Clan, I expect you to have integrity and character. Besides skill, perseverance, and heart, that is what makes a warrior so great. Be proud of who you have become and bring some pride into the Immortal Clan. Farewell, Naruto." A tear escaped Naruto's eye as he remembered his master's last words. "I will bring pride into the Immortal Clan. Just you wait, Amir," Naruto said. He kept walking until he reached the front gates of Konoha. "Finally, I'm here," Naruto said before collapsing from exhaustion. The two Chunin guards rushed to his side and called for some help. When the medical ninja finally arrived, they lifted Naruto onto a stretcher and rushed him to the hospital. The sounds of long beeping could be heard in the background. The sounds of walking and murmurs could also be heard. Naruto was just confused. Why was he hearing this? Where was he? Wasn't he just outside Konoha's walls? So why was he hearing this when he should have been outside? Naruto opened his eyes to see what was going on and he saw doctors walking around with clipboards. They each looked nervous and frantic. It worried Naruto, but only a little bit. He turned his head to look at the time. It read 20 before 9. And right next to the clock were his swords, lying against the wall. "Excuse me," Naruto said, attracting the attention of the other adults. "Where am I?" All the doctors came rushing at him and not only examining him, but also the equipment. The looks on the doctor's face were priceless. They each looked like Naruto had died and then came back to life. He wanted to laugh, but decided to take this seriously. "Son, are you okay?" one doctor asked as he checked Naruto's forehead. Naruto tilted his head as he answered. "What do you mean?" "I feel great, a little sore, but great," Naruto said as he smiled. Even as he wore the mask, it was tight enough so you could see movement under it. "Do you know what just happened to you?" Naruto still didn't get where the doctor was going with this. He was just sleeping off the exhaustion, right? Naruto shook his head, hoping that one of the doctors would explain it to him. "Well, you see, when we recovered you, you fell into a deep coma." One doctor started to explain. Then it started getting worse as the days passed until just a minute ago where you another doctor started but couldn't finish. She didn't really want to think about it. Naruto looked at the doctor as if asking her to continue. Instead the first doctor spoke up. You died not long ago. The monitor read that your heart stopped beating. We thought you were dead. The doctor finished explaining. Oh, Naruto said as he looked out the window with a solemn expression. Then, out of nowhere, he started laughing. He laughed and laughed until he was red in the face, and even then he didn't stop. Doctors and nurses alike looked on in disbelief that a boy who had just heard that he died not long ago was laughing about it. Many were curious and wanted to ask why he was laughing, but suddenly, a gust of wind came into the room, causing all in the room to cover their eyes. When they put down their arms, they saw that Naruto and his stuff were gone. The wind blowing from the open window animated the curtain hanging over it. One doctor turned to a nurse nearby. Go to the Hokage and tell him the masked boy has escaped. He said he wanted to speak to the boy when he awoke, and now we don't even have the boy. The doctor yelled, and the nurse left in a hurry. Naruto was walking down the street that led away from the hospital. If there was something he didn't miss from Konoha, it was the hospital. Yes, because of his accidents, as so many villagers call it, the hospital was like his second home. But that didn't mean he liked the place. Half of the workers didn't like him, they either ignored him or acted rather rude towards him. The other thing was the food. He always wondered why they never served ramen. It was a delicious meal and was pretty cheap. Some people can be so stupid sometimes. Then he thought back on the doctor's face and what they told him. He laughed aloud, attracting many of the passing people's attention and looking at him weirdly, but he didn't care. He hit the nail right on the head with his guess that he died. He knew he shouldn't have laughed, but it was too funny not to. As he kept walking, he wondered how exactly he came back to life after he died. He stopped walking and started concentrating. He suddenly appeared in a sewer-like place. It was colorless except for all the dark yellow and shade. In front of him, he saw a cage similar to a jail cell and a piece of paper with the word seal imprinted on it. Then, two eyes appeared out of the abyss in the cage and a mouth came right after it. The eyes were a crimson red and held rage, hatred, pain, and bloodlust. Something he had only seen in one other person. Was that your doing? Naruto thought. A sinister-like laugh echoed in Naruto's head. Naruto sighed, he hated how dramatic it got sometimes. Yes, that was me. I couldn't just let you die now, could I? Kyuubi said as he showed his fangs in his smile. Naruto has known of Kyuubi for more than half a year now. It happened one day during his training that he met Kyuubi. He sighed as he remembered exactly how he met him. Flashback, Naruto was walking alongside his master Amir as they headed for a river nearby. They started Naruto's training less than 6 months ago and he was starting to get used to it. Amir had Naruto work on his upper and lower strength at the beginning of the training. It wasn't until a month ago Amir thought it was good enough to take a break from it. So now, he was teaching Naruto how to meditate. Unfortunately, this was something Naruto didn't want to learn. I don't want to. Naruto yelled. Amir's eyebrow twitched as a vein popped out of his head. Well, too bad, brat, if you want me to continue training you, you're going to have to meditate. Amir replied as calmly as he could. Naruto looked at Amir's face and saw that he was serious. He sighed in defeat as he sat cross-legged and meditated. He opened his eyes to see that he was in a hallway. The floor was flooded with water, but he didn't really want to know where it came from. He looked up and saw a lot more hallways, stretching out to who knows where. Naruto didn't know where he was, but he did know where he was. It was vast and spacious. He didn't know why, but he decided to walk around the hallways. He walked for a while before he saw a red flash coming from a room to his left. He walked over to it and saw a huge jail-like cage. The words seal were imprinted on a paper hanging on the cage. He walked closer to the cage and then a claw appeared out of the darkness and tried to strike him. Luckily for him, Amir trained on Naruto's reflexes and now he's as fast as. Naruto looked into the darkness and saw nothing but the claw that almost mauled him. It retracted into the cage and two sinister eyes and a gigantic mouth appeared. Naruto flinched under its gaze but soon snapped out of it and looked the creature straight in the eyes. The creature then chuckled, which echoed throughout the cavern. So you dare look me in the eye? Asked the mighty creature. Inside, Naruto was shaking with fear, but his outer appearance remained passive. Yes, I do. Now who are you? And where am I? Naruto said coldly. If there was one thing he'll never forget was the way Amir talked to people that annoyed him. Naruto soon got into the habit of talking like that when he was annoyed or when he spoke to arrogant people. All that did though was make the mighty creature laugh. Who am I? Who am I? I am the mighty nine-tailed fox, but you, my lowly host, can call me Kyuubi. And, as far as where you are in your mind. Kyuubi finished with a menacing smile. Naruto's eyes widened. You mean Yaruth Kyuubi? The one who attacked the village 5.5 years ago? I thought the fourth Hokage finished you off. Naruto said. Kyuubi just scoffed. The fourth Hokage was a fool and a weakling. He couldn't be defeated, so he went with the next best thing. He sealed me inside a weak brat by the name of Naruto. By the fact that you're here, I have to guess that you're Naruto, right? Naruto nodded dumbly because that was all he could do, as he was still shocked. The fourth Hokage sealed the Kyuubi away from me? This was the only thought going through Naruto's head. Kyuubi slammed his front paw into the ground to get Naruto's attention. But because of the force Kyuubi used to get his attention, Naruto ended up falling on his butt. Hey. Watch what you're doing, you furball. Naruto yelled as he snapped out of his daze. Kyuubi chuckled, once again making the echoes go throughout the halls. You got some guts talking to me like that, brat. Kyuubi said while Naruto tried to calm himself down. Then he had a sudden thought. So this is the reason people hate me. Naruto concluded sadly. Kyuubi just stared at Naruto before he closed his eyes and let out a loud exhale. Yes, I am the reason why you're despised in your own village. I have been able to see whatever you've been able to see, don't ask if it's complicated. Kyuubi said when he saw Naruto looking like he wanted to ask how. Naruto remained quiet as he let Kyuubi go on. As I was saying, I saw everything you saw, even everything that you heard. At first, I laughed every time something bad happened to you. Like that one time you thought the wind pushed the can of red paint over and made you red. I actually saw some drunken man push it over from the corner of your eye. Though I got to say, it was hilarious that you couldn't get the paint off you for a week. Naruto stared angrily at Kyuubi as he saw the smile appear on his face. To the point, what are you trying to say? Naruto asked. Kyuubi then got serious as he continued. What I'm trying to say is Kyuubi mumbled something that sounded like call Harvey. Naruto was confused by this. Sorry, I don't know any Harveys. Naruto said innocently. Kyuubi loudly exhaled before he spoke louder. I said I'm sorry, not to call Harvey. What the hell kind of name is that? Naruto laughed a little at his words. When he composed himself, he faced Kyuubi and walked closer to him. What are you sorry for? I didn't mean to cause you harm, well, at least, not now. Naruto looked at Kyuubi, a puzzled expression planted on his face. So why did you attack the village? Naruto asked curiously. Well, that's just it, I don't know. I just happened to have been walking near Konoha when suddenly, a man appeared in front of me. He was an odd man, and a crazy one too to have just appeared in front of me. And he had the audacity to look me straight in the eye. After that, it was a blur. When I awoke, I was already in this cage. I'm positive that the man was responsible for my attack on your village. If I could, I'd go find this man and rip him apart. Naruto just stood passively in front of the cage bars, contemplating Kyuubi's words. I want to help you. I want to help you find this man and get back at him. Naruto said something which was somewhat interesting to Kyuubi. He knew if a man could do that to him, Naruto wouldn't stand a chance against a man. But first, I want you to train me. Now Naruto grabbed Kyuubi's interest. And what kind of help am I to you? Kyuubi asked. As far as I know, you have an unprecedented amount of chakra, right? Kyuubi sighed. I know where you're going with this, and I can't do it. Kyuubi said. Why not? Look, with your chakra and intelligence, you'll be able to teach me all about ninjutsu, and I'm already doing taijutsu with Amir, all I'm missing is those two. And besides, the faster I become stronger, the faster I'll be able to stop that guy who made you attack the village. What do you say? Naruto inquired. Kyuubi wondered if he affected Naruto too much because he was able to say all that in one breath. I don't know, what I know is dangerous for a mortal to know. How do I know you won't be killed just by trying to do it, brat? Naruto's smirk matched that of a cunning fox. Because soon enough, I will be part of the Immortal Clan, the toughest clan to have existed. I will not die from what you have to teach me. Kyuubi smirked at Naruto's confidence and pride. He's an interesting one, I'll give him that. Alright, fine, I suppose it wouldn't hurt me. You thought, that's a different story. I don't care, so when do we start? Naruto asked excitedly. He felt so happy that now he'll be able to get even stronger. As soon as you head back to Konoha. Naruto face falls at Kyuubi's answer. Why wait until then? Naruto asked angrily. For one thing, I'm sure your little mind won't be able to handle the train I have in mind, plus the one that the other guys got. Now go away, I'm tired and I need to sleep. That was the last thing he said before he kicked Naruto out of his mind. Flashback end. Now that I remember, weren't you supposed to train me as soon as we got home? Naruto asked Kyuubi. Yeah, I remember, but how about first giving me a break? Healing you up takes a lot of chakra, and besides, I don't feel like doing anything right now. Kyuubi replied. Naruto's sweat dropped and started to mentally complain about how lazy Kyuubi was and how unfair he was being. He then felt something running straight at him. He turned around just fast enough to see a familiar orange blur running straight at him. He caught the blur and looked at it. Miyu was in his hands with a happy expression on her face. Surprisingly enough, she stayed the same size she was last year. Naruto would have guessed she would at least be an inch or two taller, but no. Hey there Miyu, where have you been? Actually, don't answer that. Come on, I'm hungry and I want some ramen. Miyu yipped happily before following after her master and partner. Over the last year, Naruto and Miyu have been working together to create a fighting style, which included having them both fighting simultaneously. Unfortunately, they still haven't figured out how to do that. When they reached Ichiraku's, Naruto walked in with a girl around his age with long black hair. She had dark red eyes and wore a red kimono with a black hobi. Her kimono covered her feet, but by the sounds of it, she was barefoot. What would you like to eat, Naruto? Oh. And who is this? Tucci asked, wiggling his eyebrow. This is going to be fun. He thought. Naruto smiled under his mask as he spoke. Give me a pork ramen and Miyu here wants a chicken. Naruto ordered. Who is this, your girlfriend? Am asked as she came out of the kitchen. Naruto blushed a little, but thanks to his mask, no one saw it. Something like that. He answered. Then Miyu licked Naruto in the cheek, causing his blush to deepen enough that Tucci and Am could see it. He's blushing. Am said after she squealed when she saw the interaction between Naruto and Miyu. Naruto just looked down and Miyu just had a small smile on her face. Can I just get me food to go please? Naruto asked nervously. Tucci nodded his head as Am continued to make fun of Naruto by making kissing faces. Luckily, she didn't do it for long because her father called her into the kitchen. Naruto gave a quick sigh before turning to Miyu. Come on. What was that? Miyu just shrugged, something about that told Naruto that she just felt like it. He sweat dropped but composed himself as he saw Tucci return with his and Miyu's ramen. Here you are. One chicken and pork, enjoy. Tucci yelled. Naruto smirked as he got both ramens. After he paid for it, he made a hand sign and Tucci and Am heard Naruto yell release. A sudden poof got their attention and after the smoke cleared, they saw a small fox, no bigger than a shoe sit where Miyu once stood. Tucci's eyes widened and his mouth dropped as Am just reached down and started petting the fox. Oh, she's so cute. Am squealed while she got Miyu in a death grip. Miyu was struggling to get free, but every attempt made was pointless, she wasn't going anywhere for some time now. She looked to Naruto for assistance, but all she saw was Naruto laughing on the ground. When Naruto had enough, he stood up and grabbed Miyu from Am's death grip. He then put her on top of his head since she seems to like it up there. He still had tears coming out of his eyes from all that laughing. By the time they left the ramen shop, the sun was already going down. Hey Kyuubi. Sun's going down, can we train now? I'll let you rest for an hour or two now. Naruto asked Kyuubi, waking him up from his sleep. Kit, you have a bad sense of time, you know that Naruto shook his head. Well, you do because it's only been 25 minutes. Naruto heard Kyuubi sigh. I guess I might as well see, as you probably won't let me go back to sleep. Naruto jumped for joy as he headed for Amir's home. During his training, Amir told Naruto that if he ever needed to train, he could always head for his house. As he entered the clearing behind the park, he saw his late master's home. He stared passively at it, the memories passing by him by the second. He shook his head as he walked closer to the cabin. He walked to the backyard and saw the swords from the first day he met Amir. The 6 swords were still there, though only the 4 swords he and Amir used were still in great shape. The 2 they didn't use were rusty and had some kind of moss growing on them. Naruto picked up the 4 swords and went inside Amir's house. He went into the room he guessed was Amir's room and laid the swords against the walls. He returned outside and sat down in front of the 2 remaining swords. Miyu jumped off his head and ran deeper into the woods. He crossed his legs and started meditating. He opened his eyes and saw the familiar cage with the familiar fox inside, sleeping. Hey fox, wake up. Naruto yelled to wake the sleeping demon fox. He opened up one eye and groaned as he sat up. Damn, I was having such a quiet dream. Naruto's veins popped out and he was starting to lose his patience with Kyuubi. Kyuubi then moved closer to the cage and looked at Naruto. So, what is it you want to learn now? I already taught you how to use a simple and the basics to chakra. Now what? Kyuubi asked lazily. He would rather be asleep than do this, but he knew Naruto wouldn't let him do that. The brat's too loud to let me have a moment of peace and quiet, he thought. In actual, I'm already old enough to enter the academy and I want to be ahead of everyone. I want to be recognized as the smartest and most powerful one in my class. Naruto said with a lot of determination. Sorry, that's not going to happen. What? Why not? Naruto asked, confused by Kyuubi's words. Because you're not smart, period. Kyuubi answered, causing Naruto to do a face vault. He got up and started yelling at the fox. "Don't get smart with me and just teach me something." "You don't have to yell," Kyuubi screamed back. "Fine, I'll teach you something that won't kill you and is easy to learn. You remember what I told you about chakra and how you can use it to do jutsus?" Naruto nodded his head. He hated the lectures he had to endure when he learned about chakra. He kept falling asleep when Kyuubi tried to explain it, but he eventually got it down. "Yes, I even remember word for word what you said. To perform a ninja will need to bring out and release their chakra. By forming hand seals, a ninja is able to manifest the desired. Because of the extensive number of hand seals and different combinations, there are thousands of potential discoveries to be discovered. Based on which jutsu the ninja uses, the type and amount of chakra will be different, as would the elements you would use to employ." Kyuubi, nodding his head. "Very impressive." Kid Kyuubi started to speak but was interrupted by Naruto. The 5 main elemental styles are also the 5 names for the 5 great shinobi countries. Fire, wind, lightning, earth, and water. "Naruto, stop messing around with that snail and stick your finger out of your nose." "Okay, I get it, you listen. Now shut up and listen to me," Kyuubi ordered, silencing Naruto. "Now, what I'm about to teach you is something I don't want you to use unless necessary. This is called fox fire. It's a technique taught to the younger generation of foxes before they go into the harder stuff. Usually, the fire will automatically burn anything and everything it touches, including the one who summoned it. But thanks to me, you won't burn up hopefully." Kyuubi said, saying the last part slowly. But Naruto heard it, making him gulp. "Okay, so how's it working?" Naruto asked nervously. He wasn't entirely sure if he wanted to go through with this if there was a chance of getting himself killed. "Okay, well, you know how we both have different chakras. Well, it's simple really, and it'll help with your chakra control. I want you to concentrate your chakra on your hand and then use my chakra to quickly apply it to the chakra in your hand." Naruto tilted his head. "Apply it?" "Yes, just imagine this like lighting a match. My chakra is the match. When you quickly apply it to or rub it against the chakra in your hands, it'll create a friction, so to speak, and turn the chakra in your hands into a foxfire. Now get out and practice." Naruto nodded his head in understanding and disappeared. He opened his eyes again and saw that he was back in the real world. He looked up and noticed that the sun was gone. He figured it was probably from 9 to 10 in the night. Naruto stood up and started stretching. After he finished, he started concentrating his chakra on his hand. When he felt like it was good enough, he looked for Kyuubi's chakra. He got it and then quickly applied it to the chakra in his hand. Suddenly, he saw a small green fire appear in the center of his hand. It was no bigger than a dime, but to Naruto, it was good enough. He spent most of the night practicing this move. Each time, he applied a little more of the fox's chakra until he collapsed. Miyu appeared into the clearing a minute after Naruto collapsed and moved closer to him. She then sat on top of his chest and fell asleep as well. Time skip. It's been a week and a half and Naruto has been working hard on the foxfire technique. The flame keeps growing, but nothing big enough to impress Kyuubi. That didn't stop him though. Every day he would keep practicing and practicing. But today, he would have to skip out on the training because today was the day he attended the academy. Somehow he managed to convince the Hokage to find a way to let him get in. It took 3 days for the 3rd Hokage to convince the council to let Naruto in the academy. How he did it, Naruto didn't care, as long as he attended, that's all that mattered. Now, Naruto was walking to school. He wore the same black mask, blue long-sleeve shirt, black anbu-like pants, shoes, and gloves that he wore every day. He decided to take off the headband he usually wore and left his swords and long coat at home, his new home. He moved into Amir's house a day after he left the hospital. He took the guest room right down the hall from Amir's old room. Now, he felt helpless without his swords, but he knew he'd probably have them taken up if he took those to school. He soon saw the school on the horizon and the other kids with their parents dropping them off. He tried to ignore the feeling he had in his stomach as he walked past the many adults and their children. He saw many of their glares, all were directed to him. Apparently, even with the mask people still recognized him. But not all glared at him. There was one adult who smiled at him. She had black hair and black eyes. She was at least 5'5" from what he could tell. Her son, who also had black hair and eyes, also gave Naruto a small smile. Naruto stopped for a moment before walking to the only pair who didn't seem to hate him. "Good morning, ma'am," Naruto yelled enthusiastically. The woman just smiled at Naruto, while the little boy sort of flinched at Naruto's yell. "Good morning, young man," the woman replied. "Hey, are you going to go to school here?" Naruto asked the boy. The boy nodded and Naruto smiled. "We'll see you inside." "Have a nice day, ma'am," Naruto said as he entered the academy. The woman waved and then turned to her son. "Looks like you already have a friend, Sasuke," the woman said. Sasuke nodded again. Yes, mother, it seems like it. Naruto walked through the hallways, looking for his class. Every class door had a list on it with the names of the students studying in that class. He kept looking for his name, and then he bumped into someone, causing him to fall on his butt. He looked up and saw a boy a year older looking at him with disgust. It was weird, he had no pupils and had long brown hair. He also wore a brown headband over his forehead. Hey Chen. You should watch where you're walking. If you're not careful, someone could get hurt. The older kid said as he walked past Naruto. Naruto immediately shot up and went after the kid. When he found him, he forcefully turned him around. But he didn't expect the kid to turn quickly and hit him in the chest with an open palm. Naruto once again fell on his behind. What the hell, man? Naruto yelled at the kid. The kid just turned around and started walking away. After a couple steps, he stopped and turned his head slightly in Naruto's direction. I warned you already that if you're not careful, someone could get hurt. Next time, I won't hold back. And he started walking away. Naruto would have gone after him, but he heard a bell go off. It took him a second to realize that it was a warning bell, meaning he only had 2 minutes to find his class. He got up quickly and started looking for his class. A minute and 35 seconds later, he still couldn't find his class. Luckily, there were only 3 classes left to check. He looked to the left and read the list for his name. No, that's not me, nope, haha, that's a funny name, but no, nah, damn. He went to the list on the right and repeated the process. Still nothing, that only left the classroom and the end of the hall. He let out a sigh of relief as he walked to the door. As soon as his hand touched the doorknob, the late bell went off. He sweat dropped at his luck and opened the door. He saw the teacher was standing in front of the class. He had his hair up in a knot and had a scar, it went from one cheek over his nose and ended at the other cheek. Naruto looked to his left and saw 8 desks, 4 on the left side of the room and 4 on the right side. It appeared to him that each desk held 3 to 4 students. So you must be Naruto Uzumaki. Come on in and take a seat. The teacher instructed. Naruto nodded and went to the only open seat, which was in between a girl with dark blue hair and a kid who was watching the clouds outside the window. When he sat down, he noticed the girl didn't have any pupils, just like the older kid who attacked him. What's up with the no pupil thing? Are they sick or something? Naruto thought. No, it's a. By the way you described their eyes, they're from the Hyuga clan. Interesting, it seems you have a Hyuga as a classmate. We'll see how great the Hyuga clan really is. Naruto heard Kyuubi say. He got it right away. He once heard adults talking about how someone tried to steal one of their members. For what, Naruto didn't know. All he knows is that that isn't right. He put both elbows on the desk and then laid his head on his hands. He turned his head to get a better look at the girl next to him. He caught his teacher giving out his name, Iruka Amino. He started talking about something, but Naruto just ignored it. He just kept looking at the girl next to him, trying to connect her with the kid he ran into earlier. She caught him watching her and blushed, though she didn't let him know she saw him. Instead, she just spoke quietly and started playing with her fingers. Is there something I can help you with? She asked quietly, almost too quiet for Naruto to hear, but he heard it. Oh no, nothing really, but do you know another boy that has no pupils? She gasped and looked at him, but then looked back down at her hands. Yes. He's my cousin. She replied. Naruto raised his head and turned his whole body to face the girl. Your cousin, really? Is he always a jerk or was today just an off day for him? I wouldn't say jerk, but he isn't always nice. She answered. Oh, by the way, my name's Naruto Uzumaki. What's yours? Naruto asked with a smile and held his hand out to shake her hand. The girl hesitantly took his hand and shook it. Hinata Hyuga. She replied with a smile of her own. Nice to meet you. Naruto said loudly, attracting the attention of his other classmates and Iruka. A vein popped out of Iruka's head and he threw a piece of chalk at Naruto. Naruto instinctively picked up the pencil that was on his desk and blocked the chalk, surprising everyone, even Iruka. Oh, sorry Iruka-sensei, you were saying? Naruto asked innocently. Iruka got over the shock and composed himself. He continued talking about what they were going to work on while attending the academy. Naruto turned him out and let his head rest on his hands. He didn't think school would be this boring. Naruto had never been as happy as he was after school. All they did was sit down and listen as Iruka talked on and on about the basics of chakra. I already know what that is. Aw, why does he keep talking and talking and talking? I'm sure everyone didn't listen to everything he said. Naruto thought aloud. Wrong, I heard everything Iruka-sensei had to say and it'll be very useful when we become actual ninjas. Naruto turned to the direction he heard the voice. He saw a pink-haired girl with a red ribbon on her head. She looked somewhat smug about what she said, which Naruto didn't really understand why. Really? That's cool of you, but I didn't hear a word after my name's Iruka Amino. Naruto replied lazily. This got the pink-haired girl angry and she threw a fist at Naruto's head. He dodged it, which caused her to miss and trip on her own feet. Lucky for her, she got her balance before she hit the floor. She turned around and threw another fist at Naruto. He ducked her fist, noticing how sloppy her taijutsu was. This happened repeatedly until she got tired. Naruto just stood in front of her as she tried to regain her breath. Well, I'd like to say that was fun, but it wasn't. He started walking away and waved goodbye to the girl. Maybe next time you'll hit me. See you later. The girl tried to yell at Naruto, but she was too tired to grunt, let alone yell. Naruto was glad he didn't have to hurt the girl. She might have been mean, but that didn't mean he had to hurt her. He put his arms behind his head as he walked home to train. He ran into Ichiraku's and decided to get some ramen. Hey AM, old man Tucci. Naruto greeted me. Tucci waved and AM came into the room with Miyu in another death grip. Naruto sweat dropped and laughed nervously. Haha, thanks for taking care of Miyu for me AM. No problem Naruto. She's welcome back anytime. She said. Naruto pried Miyu from AM and put her on the floor next to his seat. Miyu started breathing deeply and fell on her side, motionless. Drama queen. Naruto said quietly. Miyu got up and barked at Naruto. Okay, sorry. Naruto ate 16 bowls of ramen before deciding to head home. It was 7 in the afternoon, so Naruto decided to rest a bit before training. He sat down on the couch in his living room and watched some TV. He didn't get why people would enter in some contest on TV and embarrass themselves on live TV. He continued watching TV for another hour or so before he fell asleep with Miyu lying next to him. Naruto felt something licking his face and soon woke up. He saw Miyu on top of him and then jumped off to walk to the door. Naruto sat up and saw that she wanted to go outside. He looked at the time and saw that it was 9:10. He yawned, stretched, and went to open the door. He saw Miyu sprint out the door and into the woods. Well, I might as well train now, he said as he turned off the TV and left the house. Okay, concentrate. Chakra started to gather in his right hand. When he felt he had enough, he added Kyuubi's chakra and suddenly, green light lit up the clearing. In his hands, Naruto had a decent-sized foxfire. Pretty good kit. Nice job. Kyuubi said, making Naruto do a stupid-looking dance. Now put it out and try it again. This caused Naruto to stop his dancing and made him face vault. Why? I did it, didn't I? He questioned. Yes you did, but I want to see if you can do it more than one time. You know, to make sure it's not a fluke. Kyuubi explained. Fine. Naruto put out the fire in his hand and reapplied chakra to his hand. When he felt that it was ready he applied Kyuubi's chakra again. This time, it seemed to be bigger than last time. Yes, I can do it. Naruto yelled. He put it out and tried it again and again. It didn't grow any bigger, but it did stay the same size. Naruto didn't care, he was just glad he could do it. All that training paid off. Naruto decided to take a walk to a small river in a clearing on the other side of the village to cool him off. He set 2 fingers into his mouth and whistled. A minute later, Miyu came dashing into the clearing and jumped on Naruto's shoulder. Come on Miyu, we're going to the river you like so much. He said to Miyu, making her yelp in excitement. Come on, let's go now. It's midnight, they're probably all asleep. A man said as he hid in the shadows with his comrade. They both hid in a tree across the street of a huge mansion. I'm not sure, I feel like we shouldn't do this. I mean, it didn't work 3 years ago, what makes you think it'll work this time? Another man said. The first man slapped the back of the head of the second man. Because they won't be expecting a second attempt. Now are you with me on this or are you just going to complain? The first man asked. The second man sighed and nodded his head. Fine, whatever, let's just do this already. Both men nodded to each other and then jumped off the tree. Both were determined to get this over with as they headed for the Hyuga mansion. Thanks for watching my video, see you next time, till then sayonara.